Hey everyone, hope you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel's Finding Value. Today we're going to do our daily technical analysis updated commodities, work our way through the dollar yields, precious metals, and commodities ETFs that I follow. I'll interject my financial opinions as we go, and if you need help with anything, check out finding-value.com where I dive deeper into all of the individual topics, companies looking for investment opportunities out there, and I share them with everyone. I will be putting together a portfolio. You guys can follow it real time as I add into it. You can also track and measure my performance going forward. And it won't be adding a ton of money into it. I'll add a certain amount, and you guys can see that and how I deploy that money since there is some interest in me doing that. So I will do that. If you want to join, Mayday coupon code is still good. So let's dive in there. Let's take a look, see what's going on today in the markets. Starting with the DXY, we've got the dollar index, and we've pulled on back quite a bit, and we're getting a bounce right now. Here's your pullback. We're getting a little bit of a bounce. We'll still have to see if this is a potential bottom or if this squeezes up into some pattern or corner where we eventually go lower. So we don't know that yet, but we are getting a bounce today. The bounce is about 0.2%. Things priced in dollars are going to struggle when the dollar goes up. Other times when the DXY falls, it is a tailwind behind things that are priced in dollars. So right now we are getting a bounce and we are above a lot of support that is underneath us with these multiple trend lines that are converging underneath us. Looking at yields, yields are bouncing upward today. Dollar and yields are they're highly correlated, at least in recent times. But the 2-year yield is bouncing off of support, and we'll see what staying power that has. I know a lot of people were probably speculating that this was going to break to the downside. We haven't seen that yet. It is of support at this current time, and the pattern is still in play, which is this pattern coming on up. We have not broken out of this consolidation pattern yet. The 10-year yield is doing the same thing. We're right on support, and that support is holding at the moment, and we'll see which direction it will eventually break. Why does it matter that much? Well, it's going to impact the dollar. And if rates go up and the dollar's strong, it's going to impact things that are priced in dollars. So it will also impact the dollar priced in other currencies. So there are certain investments that do well under a declining dollar versus a strengthening dollar. And yes, I know it's all relative. And then the 30-year is still in the pattern, and it's not really close to any breakout in either direction. It's right in the middle. TYX TNX ratio slightly lower today, just pulling back a little bit. And again, this has a long runway. If the yield curve uninverts, we could see precious metals really start to take off. That's when the dollar drops generally too. There might be reasons that Powell and other people want to hold interest rates where they're at and have a strong dollar, where maybe interest rates remain higher for longer and they do stimulus behind it. That is also possibilities where they can provide a boost to a slowing economy, but hold rates at a certain level. Maybe that's something that they are doing. I don't know, but that could be an outcome. And then bond prices are still stuck in this pattern here. We haven't clearly broken out yet. We're back within the pattern, and prices are doing the same thing that yields are doing. They're consolidating and squeezing into this. We very well could see bond prices break lower with yields breaking to the upside. We'll have to wait and see. Looking at gold does not like that stronger dollar, stronger yield. It's pulling back today, down about 2.3%. So we are getting some selling pressure there in the short term. And it looks like this upward trend line is breaking to the downside in the short term. Silver also selling off, down about 2.75%, and we're right at that support level. We'll see if that support level holds right where we're at. We've got platinum down a little bit. It does have a wick at the bottom, much like silver did. And we're still underneath this trend line. You know what's going to light all these up? What's going to light all these up is if the dollar drops. They're all going to go like this. It's going to be a relief valve of the dollar and the currency. So the bond market, if it experiences pressure to the upside in terms of rates, and if they want to hold rates lower, the relief valve, the currency, if they use that relief valve in the currency, it's going to push everything priced in dollars upward. And we're going to see a big drop in the value of the currency. That's what's going to happen if we get that outcome. Palladium's also a little bit lower in terms of strengthening dollar and whatnot. It's back to that support level, about $900, and tapping that again. GDX down a little bit. Same with GDXJ and same with SILJ. We're getting a pullback in all of those mining companies, but they all are still looking all right. They're in sideways consolidation mode at this time. XAU to gold ratio, we are up, which means the gold and silver mining companies did outperform the physical metal itself by a little bit today. And it does look like we could be put in a bottoming pattern. This still looks good to go higher on a longer term time frame. Now, will this be as bullish if rates go sideways for a while? It may not. I mean, we might go sideways with rates for a while and we stay low for a little while where this ratio stays down. It doesn't mean that we just rip to the upside. If we see rates drop and the dollar drop, I do think that this is going to be a really fun ride, is what I'll say. We've got crude oil also selling off about 3% today. We're pulling back off that resistance support level. It's right now acting as resistance, and we could move lower within this pattern for a little bit longer. We're not blown out yet in terms of just dive bombing, but it is a pretty big candlestick, and it did end pretty strong today to the downside. TTF gas pulling back up against resistance, and natural gas in America is just moving sideways. The momentum is still to the downside. We need to cut back on production longer than a month or two. Boy, XOP, yeah, you know me. Now, this is where you want to get you want to pay attention to the details, all right? We just saw crude oil dive by 3%. And if we were in a very bearish market condition for oil, we would see the equities just, drop off a cliff here. It'd be down 3, 4, 5, 6%. We were only down 0.72%. We're up against support. It's holding. I will say if we continue to get selling pressure in oil, eventually it's going to, continually apply downward pressure, and this will fall and probably sell. But right now it's holding on and it looks pretty strong. But we need oil to firm up here. We can't have it continue to go down like it did today. Shoulder, head, shoulder at the neckline. We're using the neckline as support. So it still looks really good for XOP, but it can only hold up for so long if the oil market continues to head lower. OIH is also holding very strong. It was only down 0.9% in the face of that. And we still have, in my opinion, a bullish setup where we came out, ripped out of this. This is our return move back, and we'll see where we put that eventual bottom in, wherever it wants to bottom out at. So it still looks really good there. Newcastle coal futures holding pretty steady here, just moving sideways. I think this looks excellent for a move higher for coal. We've got Sprott Physical Uranium Trust still looking pretty ugly. I would like for this to get back above that, but we only have a small up candlestick. Momentum, unfortunately, is still to the downside at this moment. We're looking at URA. URA also not getting a very convincing turning of the candlesticks. Momentum is still to the downside, unfortunately. Same with URNM and same with URNJ. Not big bounces or anything like that today. Momentum still lower. And then the uranium futures pricing, as weird as it is, doesn't look all that bad yet. We are still holding on. We very well could have this. And if it breaks upward, things could change rapidly. in the uranium space, but we'll continue to monitor it. We'll watch and see if we get a reversal here. But right now, things are still looking like they could progress to the downside. This is copper. Copper down another 1% today. So we are getting some selling pressure. I know some people are looking at copper saying, well, maybe this is signs of a slowdown. Maybe, potentially. But yeah, we were down today, and we still have a gaggle of support underneath us when we get down to this level at 3.85 or so. COPX also, a little bit of selling pressure today. Not a huge bounce or anything like that, so the momentum is still lower. Iron ore, this doesn't look too bad. This looks like it's trying to put in a bottom and eventually turn higher in some sort of flag pattern or something like that. So that still looks good there. Aluminum selling off. This still momentum down. It hasn't turned yet. And a lot of these base metals, they are an extension of what people think about the economy. Maybe we're getting a slowdown here and we're going through it right now. Nickel down 1.3%. That still looks pretty weak, and the momentum is to the downside still. We've got Mu that is down a little bit. We're back within the pattern. It still looks good, though. We've got a nice big surge higher, a little bit of resistance coming up there, and maybe we can turn this thing around still. I'm gauging that off of the green candlestick, this big bullish engulfing here, and not much selling pressure pulling back off that resistance on the dailies there. These two smaller candlesticks. They still look okay, and you've got a wick at the bottom. Emerging markets down, that's as expected, with stronger dollar, stronger yields. And I would expect all these other ones to kind of come under pressure here. These are all interest rate sensitive. KRE looks good. It's just moving sideways, consolidating. We've got TAN that's lower, as expected, but we do have a wick at the bottom, so people bought it up. The gap is now filled. We've got lithium down a little bit. It's holding on. The gap is now filled too, with stronger dollar, stronger yields, and REMX down just a little bit. So we'll see if these are basing out, trying to make a move higher. Baltic Dry Index up a little bit, and we're back to monumental support underneath us, which is this 1790 area or 1750 area, which is held for like many decades. We got good support there. XHB, a little bit lower today, and this still looks well poised for a move higher. I'm basing that off of the move higher and the weak pullback. Russell 2000 looks like it's coming back for a retest. The retest area is 2130. SPX down, and I don't know, guys. This doesn't look super strong to me. Looks like it's trying to break out of this upper trend line too to the downside. We could see further downside here in the S&P 500. And then the NASDAQ is also selling off, and that does look like it's starting to clear easily this upward trend line to the downside. And we'll see support as we go maybe to 16,500-ish level. SMCI down a little bit. It's right on support. And then NVIDIA also lower. And this does look kind of bearish with these two bearish engulfings and maybe further downside. The selling pressure in the NASDAQ and the S&P 500 may impact other sectors depending on how fast it sells off. BTC ripping higher. That looks good to continue higher. Small selling pressure and then the big move on up. Same with Ethereum. Still looks good to go higher with both of those. So that's what I've got for today. Give me a thumb up for the content, guys. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the website. Hey, guys, let's try to hit 50,000 here. I haven't really been asking too many people to subscribe to the channel, but subscribe to the channel if you can. If you like watching it, help me out. Just click subscribe. Really appreciate that. Try to get to 50 grand. I think I'm at 26 something. Yeah, I think that's 26. So we've got a good chunk of ways to go to get there, but subscribe, help me out. And if you guys like this type of analysis, definitely give me a thumb up. All right, guys, we'll catch you later. This is Finding Value.